What does the morning sunrise point to? What does the sound of a child's laughter point to? Indeed, beloved friends, what does the very breath you breathe point to? What do all things of creation point to? For I have said unto you before that there is nothing you can create that does not express your longing to awaken. Therefore, all doing of the body-mind is but the attempt of the soul to break free of all limitation and to, once again, rest, recline, in that perfect peace which is the certain knowledge that only love is real. Hello friends! This video will be talking about Lesson 8 in The Way of Knowing, which is the third book of the Christ Mind Trilogy, or The Way of Mastery, written by Jayem, or John Mark Hammer, in which he channels Jeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus. And Lesson 8 is about love. Love, love, love. It is so good, this lesson. My goodness, it's good. Definitely check out the full lesson. It was so good I just wanted to put all the quotes, the whole lesson in this video, but of course I didn't, because the whole idea is to make it a little shorter for everyone, a little synopsis. But check out the full length lesson, free online at womlibrary.com, or on his YouTube channel to listen to the audio of the original channeling at The Way of Mastery Official. So many great excerpts from this lesson. Love, beloved friends, is the essence of all that you are. Love is the essence of all that dances as a temporary reflection before the eyes of your very body-mind. There is nothing you can look upon whose essence is not love. There is nothing you can experience whose essence is not love. The only question then is, are you willing to make the journey from fear to love as you look upon anything, as you experience any emotion? For there can be nothing that obstructs from you the light and presence of your Creator. And to perceive the real world of love is to know with perfect certainty that you and your Father are one. And when we remember our loving thoughts, love is all that we will see, because love is the truth of everything. And when love looks upon all things, it realizes that every action, every experience is really that love within that other thing or person longing for itself. It is simply longing to find a way to realize and remember itself. Listen carefully here. There is nothing you can experience that is anything but the soul's longing to be the perfection of what it is, love. And as he has said many times before, what is not love is fear and nothing else. And fear is merely a contraction and the loss of that truth and that sanity of knowing that it doesn't need to seek for love. It just needs to open and be love. So fear is the thought that I am not love, I need to seek it, gain it. Any attempt to get is insane. Likewise, any attempt to refrain from receiving or giving is also insane. Getting and receiving are not the same. Giving to get is not true giving. Giving and receiving are one. For in each case, the heart must open, the defenses must be laid aside, and the soul becomes wholly vulnerable. So our true safety is when we become fully vulnerable. And when we are fully vulnerable, the world cannot harm us at all. Where you are is where heaven is fully available. That which you are is the love of God made manifest. And when you remember only your loving thoughts, that means that in the very present moment you are remembering, you are bringing the facets of yourself back into the wholeness of the realization that only love is real. And in life, he says, yes, you can lose things. People can die. Things can be destroyed. But you never lose the essence of those things, because that is not possible. And he says, what are spouses, cars, money in the bank, things, careers, but simply the teddy bear a child is trying to cling on to out of fear of insecurity, thinking that the teddy bear will comfort you. He says, yet the Christ within you can love. And that love cannot be found in the world. It can't be extracted from the world, which is the big mistake most of us make. It must be allowed within us. It must be allowed to flow forth. It comes out from us. Everything is flowing out from us, nothing into us. We don't get anything. And it is true insanity, he says, to want to extract or possess the love in outer things. And he says the only way to really remember and know love is to know that anything that is not love is fear. And in any moment, in any circumstance, when love is not known to be the commodity, then there is fear. And then he makes an important distinction. He says the fear he speaks of is not the fear of the biochemical release within the body of, let's say, when you run into a bear all of a sudden. That's a natural response. And even an enlightened person, he says, will have that reaction and will listen to it. But even so, the enlightened master might have that reaction of fear from that, but then say, oh, maybe it's my time. But the fear he speaks of is judgment, resistance, mostly resistance, condemning. The fear he speaks of is thinking that you are not love and thinking you need to get it from outside of you. And then he goes on to say an interesting thing about wanting a mate or having a special someone like a spouse or a partner. Those that would seek to possess a mate, to create an exclusivity, are truly only expressing some subtle level of fear. For love denies not to anyone the perfect freedom that is the sovereignty and right of every soul. For you cannot know love until you have set all beings free. You cannot know your Creator until you love as your Creator loves. To love as your Creator loves. Very interesting. So what does that mean? It means to love unconditionally, right? You don't save your love just for one certain person. Your love is unconditional and given freely to everything, universally. And to know love means that you can no longer tell where you end and the Creator begins. Such a one merely loves. Such a one rests in the perfect certainty of love so deeply that the thought of restricting another's freedom cannot arise. Why would it? If your cup is truly overflowing, would you require another to place their half-filled glass before you, demanding that you need to possess their glass? Love allows all things. Love embraces all things. Love trusts all things, and thereby immediately transcends all things. He then shares an exercise to do the next 30 days. And again, these lessons were given out originally, one per month. So the exercises he gives and shares are meant to be done over the next 30 days until the next lesson came out. So this exercise, he says, spend some time each day, every day, some time alone with a piece of paper and write down and ask yourself, where did you refuse to give total freedom to the ever-changing expressions of creation? Have you ever judged a politician? In that very moment, you are refusing to extend perfect freedom, for judgment flows from fear and not from love. Were you ever in a relationship in which some part of you felt at least a little urge to try to convince the other that they don't really love the person they met in the supermarket? They really love just you. And all of that is fear and nothing else. For love is satiated in its own being. Love overflows, and the thought of possessing, controlling, or limiting can come only from one who feels emptiness. Love sets all things free. Love sets the world free to be as the world is. Love sees perfect harmlessness. Love sees that because things are as they are as they are. Think well about that statement. Because things are as they are, the mind in perfect freedom lets them be as they are and sees them as utterly harmless. This world is perfectly harmless. This world that you experience in this now moment cannot add anything to you, and it can take nothing away. And then he gives a few examples which really illustrates this point, which I recommend you check out the lesson to see the other examples. But one of them he gives is, let's say you lose your job, and then you're in fear and you're freaking out. And he says it's really, you're not afraid that you lost a job. What's disturbing you is that you're identifying yourself as the body-mind. And you think the body-mind needs to survive because you relate job with survival because it's giving you money. But then he reminds us that we are not the body-mind. We are the field of love. We are eternal, and that we shouldn't worry about the body-mind at all. This probably seems pretty extreme. It does for me, at least, from our normal stance, our normal point of view, operating from this ego, because we do identify so much with this body-mind. But he says, you are not the body-mind. You are not the body. So you need not fear at all of whether you're going to be taken care of, whether you're going to be fed, sheltered. You will be taken care of. And if you die, so what? You never die. The true self never dies. Can you understand that when your love is so complete, it no longer matters if the body-mind exists tomorrow? For where would you go? You are but the field of love itself. Your essence is unchanging forever. You are pure spirit. And then he reminds us of that truth that he shared way in the beginning of these books and these lessons, is that the spiritual path doesn't begin unless you take full responsibility for what happens in your life, and that nothing happens by accident. He then says the ultimate lesson is love. Love is the final lesson. The way of knowing must be the completion of the decision to teach only love. And the only way to teach love is to be love under all circumstances. This does not mean that you paint a plastic smile on your face and never feel any emotion. That is not enlightenment. That is the height of the ego's attempt to usurp power from God. For the spiritual ego, the spiritual personality, is indeed the last egg to be cracked. For only that one is awakened who allows all things, trusts all things, embraces all things, which is the same as to say, feels all things. For in that very moment, the very thing arising is transcended because it is not obstructed or resisted. And what is not obstructed or resisted is, indeed, embraced, consumed in the spaciousness of love. This is very interesting and very important, he says. So love allows all things, embraces all things. That means anger, sadness. You allow those emotions to come. You don't resist it. You resist nothing. You embrace it all. You allow it all. It's that deeper awareness of those things that arise, of the anger, of the passion, of the frustration, of the sadness, the deep sorrow. With love, you allow them to happen. You let them flow through. You never resist them. Of course, you don't let them control you, but you're aware of them and you do not judge them. You're aware of them and you allow them and you embrace them, and thereby you transcend them. Then he shares some questions to ask ourselves. Where in my life have I refrained from love? Where have I chosen behavioral patterns and decisions and choices with a smile on my face, while all the time attempting to control and manipulate the world in order to keep me safe from feeling and facing my own insecurities? Where have I demanded that the world show up in a certain way so that I can pretend to have peace, where I can pretend to be happy and loving? For anyone can be happy and loving in a candy store. Anyone can be happy standing in front of a crowd and everyone's applauding you. Anyone can be happy being held by 20 friends who say they love you. But only the enlightened can be happy when those 20 friends have chosen to crucify you. Therefore, indeed, it is in your darkest moments. It is in the crumbling of the structures you have made where you are best given the opportunity to realize the great power within you to teach only love. Yikes, that gave me some goosebumps. Only in your darkest moments, only the crumbling of the structures around you are giving the true opportunity to show your commitment to love. And yet the ego thinks, he says, that to know love means no unpleasantness arises, that no anger ever comes, everything's all happy and rainbows, that you never experience the challenges of aloneness, abandonment, sadness, and so forth. But that is not true. Those things will come. But this deep love will still be there. This deep-seated awareness and allowance is still there amidst all of those things. So you never resist those things. He goes on to say, what's important is that you not necessarily lose all your material things, but that you let go of and lose your attachment to it. You must come to see that it is purely an illusion, and that those material things cannot provide you with the safety that you seek. For safety can only come in reclining into the peace of God. The body-mind is not even mine. The mate is not mine. The career is not mine. The bank accounts are not mine. These things of the world cannot keep my soul safe. They cannot awaken me. Only my decision to surrender the world, to transcend the world, to abide as empty in the world, only my decision to teach only love can awaken me to the invulnerability beyond the vulnerability of all created things, even this very body-mind that I once mistakenly identified with as myself. The truly awakened come and go as the wind. You know not from whence they have come, and you know not where they are going. For they don't even know these things. How can you? But they listen to the voice of Spirit. And Spirit is like the whisper of the winds. Come, go, touch, speak, refrain, leave, abstain, embrace, eat, fast, pray, dance. And then he gives a beautiful analogy of what is occurring in this experience. For this world arises and passes away in the twinkling of an eye. It is merely like dots on a screen that have created a temporary movie. Once the movie plays out, the screen remains as it has always been, until the next movie comes to town. Your consciousness is like that screen. It witnesses that which arises and passes away, even within the body-mind itself. Identify with that pure screen, the pure witness, the spaciousness that is wider than all universes. Notice that part of you that is simply aware of what is arising, a feeling, a thought, a word, a song heard, a car crash witnessed. It doesn't matter. Anything arising in the field of your experience arises in the field of this spaciousness of awareness, which is God's gift to you as your very existence. For pure spirit is awareness itself, and that awareness can be fueled by the decision for love or the belief in fear. And then he asks us to look within and look deeply and truly and honestly and ask ourselves, what has been running us? And ask ourselves, where have we refrained from love? You are love and nothing else. In any moment that you behave, speak, or perceive yourself to be other than love, you have used the power of your awareness to decide for that which would attempt to stand against the kingdom of God. And you are the one that has suffered for it. And then he describes how he has become and how people look up to him and say, oh, you're so loving, you're so beautiful. And he says to him, he's just come to this place, the simple space of saying there's nothing else to do. There's no other choice but to love. And it is that simple. And when you realize that simplicity and you extend love to everything, allow freedom to everything, nothing can hurt you. You're completely invulnerable. And then he provides another beautiful description that I'm just going to include the whole thing, and this is a long one. Never identify yourself with your doing, but let your doing be infused by your being. For while you're in the world, the body-mind will do. Its very nature is action and activity itself, just like it is the nature of a leaf in an autumn to fall from a tree to the ground. Would you say, oh, well that shouldn't have happened. The leaf shouldn't have had to die. It shouldn't have had to change colors. Oh, what's wrong with the universe? You are like a leaf on the tree, and you are already falling to the moment of your death. How much more time will you waste before you decide to break through the chains of fear held in the very tissues of the body-mind? How much longer will you wait to enjoy the dance of the fall from the branch of birth to the ground of death of the body-mind in order to experience the total freedom of the fall? And here indeed, beloved friends, we come full circle. For the great fall from grace, the great dream of the dream of separation, must finally be embraced and lived with perfect love, obstructing nothing, knowing that the very momentary experience of the body-mind in a perfectly insane world is okay because it is illusion. To resist illusion is to insist that the illusion is real. It is only in the full embrace of an illusion that the illusion dissolves before your eyes. Love sets all things free again. To resist the illusion is to insist that it is real. This is just like in dreams. If you have a nightmare, if something scary is presented to you in a nightmare while you're sleeping, if you resist it, it just gets stronger, right? And it chases you more. If you just turn to it and embrace it, not literally embrace it, but just allow it, it dissolves away. Love sets all things free again. So you must also love the illusion, not resist it. He then passionately gives an exercise for us to do for the next 30 days. Over the next 30 days, do only this. Dedicate and commit each moment of each day to teaching only love. Take upon yourself the commitment to discipline the mind and the heart while opening the body without obstruction. In each moment, set all beings free by being only committed to love. See how much joy you can experience by being the lover of all life. Want nothing from no one. Need nothing from anyone. Express your passion. Express your longing. Look upon the falling leaves, if they are happening in your neighborhood. Wherever you are, look upon all things and decide to love the hell out of it. For the hell in it is only what you have projected upon it. Take back your projection and embrace it with love. For 30 days, you can do it. For 30 days, such a small time frame in one human life. Would you not give yourself permission for 30 days a 3 and a 0, this is not a difficult assignment. Anyone with any degree of intelligence and maturity can surely decide each morning for one day to teach only love and string 30 of them together. If it is in truth the transformation of your soul that you seek, so that only Christ is present where you are, complete this one assignment, and when it's done, simply do it again and again and again, worlds without end. Again, definitely check out this full lesson. It's so good. Thank you.